Hey, welcome to Life After Nursing School. I'm your host, Caroline Dana, aka Nurse Coach Caroline, and I'm here to help you, the new nurse, thrive in your career. As a former nurse recruiter, nurse manager, and now your personal new nurse career coach, I'm obsessed with making sure you don't just survive your first couple of years at the bedside. I want you to absolutely rock them. From the challenges to the triumphs, I'll be right here with you, giving you the real-world advice and support that you need to shine. Whether you're in nursing school getting ready for life after, or you're already out there in nurse life feeling overwhelmed or even questioning your confidence, I've got your back. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and strategies that are just for you. We'll dive into everything from landing that dream nursing job to slaying imposter syndrome, and most importantly, how to keep that spark alive and stay the vibrant and amazing nurse that you are. So if you're ready to tackle the things nursing school did not cover, like how to build a career, trust yourself, and keep your passion strong, then get comfortable because we are about to dive in and make nurse life the best life. Welcome back to Life After Nursing School podcast. Today's guest is someone I know will resonate deeply with so many of you, especially if you've ever struggled to take care of yourself while caring for everyone else. I'm joined by Niko Saunders, better known on Instagram as @OfficialFitRN. Niko is a critical care nurse, fitness coach, and content creator who's passionate about helping nurses beat burnout and take back control of their health and their lives. In this episode, we explore his journey from volunteering at a hospital in high school to starting as a new grad in the ICU and all the way to his own burnout experience and deciding something needed to change. We dive into what it really looks like to get back into the gym after a draining 12-hour shift, how to build sustainable habits that actually stick, and practical ways nurses can reclaim their energy, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. Niko also opens up about the moment he realized he wasn't okay and how a medical diagnosis initially held him back from living a physically active lifestyle. He shares the radical decision he made to take his health into his own hands and how that journey led him to discover a passion for coaching healthcare workers in the gym and why so many nurses feel stuck in the cycle of burnout. We even chat about creating content as nurses, and I share how one of his reels remains my all-time favorite on social media. This conversation is honest, it's energetic, and it's packed with so many takeaways. And I walked away with several tips on consistency that I'm truly excited to implement in my own life, and I have a feeling you will too. Whether you're a student, a new grad nurse, or a seasoned nurse just trying to feel like yourself again, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Okay, what a pleasure it is to finally welcome you to the Life After Nursing School show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I obviously want to jump right in. Can you tell us about your nursing journey? Take us back to nursing school and bring us then to present times where I believe you work as an ICU nurse and you're an online fitness coach.
So it kind of started all the way back in like early high school. So like 9, 10, and 11th grade, I started volunteering at Cross Hospital in Syracuse because I knew I wanted to go medical field. My mom was a nurse. I just kind of wasn't sure what area I wanted to go in. So I did like a few things with like nurse anesthetist. I did biomedical engineering. I popped around a few different places. Then my senior year of high school, I saw a panel of nurses speak at Upstate Hospital in Syracuse and knew I wanted to be a nurse right then and there. It was literally the first week of like this program where a different specialty in the hospital will come speak to you, like a group of students once a month. Literally week 1 was nurses. It was 4 different nurses. I don't really remember the specialties, but they were from 4 different areas. And they were talking about kind of like all the avenues and everything that you go down. And I was sold. So that year I actually started working as a tech at Upstate, worked as a tech from senior year of high school up until my senior year of college. I would work there like on breaks, winters, summers, all that kind of stuff. Went to St. John Fisher out in Rochester for college, got my 4-year degree from that. Immediately started working as a new grad in the medical ICU, one hospital in Rochester. I did that for 3 years. Then I traveled for a year to a hospital out in Buffalo. I did a whole 1-hour commute and everything. Still was able to stay on my fitness journey. Then I actually ended up going staff at the hospital that I was traveling, and I've been their staff for a year now. And the floor that I'm on now, it's a huge unit. It's a 28-bed unit. Half of it's the medical ICU, half of it is the neuro ICU. So I'm cross-trained in both now, and I love it. Love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, I have a lot that I want to unpack now. First of all, I commend you so much for going and volunteering at a local hospital to see, okay, what part of medicine interests you. I think that's a really great way if they think they want to be a nurse or they think they want to go into the medical field. It's a completely different life.
It's a completely different world because I forget what I was either told or I saw something about biomedical engineering. That looks so much fun. Then I went and shadowed it in the hospital. I was like, this is the most boring thing I've ever been a part of in my life. And I was checking off the box. I was like, all right, looked into it. Don't want anything to do with it. Next.
Oh my gosh. No, I agree. And I think too, I really, really wish that nursing school required students to be CNAs because I think that's just such a great way to, again, see what the nurse is doing every day and also learning to just talk to patients.
Right. Miles ahead compared to other people in my class in nursing school with just my ability to be able to walk into a patient's room and hold a conversation was mind blowing to me because like if you've never done it before, like I remember when I was in high school and I was like, but then like you just get over it. And then like you get into nursing school and you're like, all right, I can get over that. So now I can spend more of my time focusing on like learning skills instead of being afraid to just talk to someone.
Yes, it is so funny because I'm a clinical instructor. So I have nursing students and typically I take first year nursing students. And I take them to med surge and, they have to do a head to toe assessment. And I swear the first couple weeks, they were just like avoiding asking their patients when their last bowel movement was or like passing gas. And I'm like, man, just ask. And, it is awkward, but once you do it and you're like, oh yeah, patients know they're going to be asked about their bowel movements, right? But it's funny because if you haven't done it before and you're not talking to strangers about things that are kind of intimate and personal like that, it is kind of a big hurdle. So I do feel like being a CNA and like learning just the basics of communication and all those kind of ADLs and basic skills sets you up so much to just build on that in your nursing career. Plus okay, yes, I know what it's like to be in a hospital and work with patients and difficult family members and whatnot. Because I think people sometimes go into the profession with the wrong reasons or not being fully
they're not fully informed on like the aspects of nursing that are like more common on the day-to-day.
Absolutely. So, okay, another thing I want to talk about is that I didn't know this, but you started in the ICU as a new grad. Now, I would love to hear a little bit about that. And I know our experiences are relative to us, right? So for me, I was a new grad on a med surge unit. So that's all I have to compare to. And we're med surge ICU. But typically, I would say most recommend that new grads go to med surge, and med's also not usually what the new grads want to do. What was it like being a new nurse and then working with such critically ill patients?
Easily the biggest learning curve I've ever experienced across like high school, college. Massive difference between nursing school and the realities of working in a critical care area. Because at least for my school, we didn't have like a critical care class, or we didn't get to shadow in like a critical care unit for a little while. If we met a certain GPA for our capstone, we were able to go into a critical area. I met that, but I got sent to an ED. So I never got to see an ICU really beforehand. So what I ended up doing is I actually just reached out and I was like, hey, can I shadow? And I went in for a shadow and they literally offered me the job the next day before I started my second semester senior year. So I had the job lined up before I even graduated college and then all NCLEX. But definitely the biggest learning curve. I absolutely think that the only reason I was able to do as well as I did early on was because of the fact that I had so much experience prior. I didn't have like the patient care tech experience, CNA experience. And also something I wanted to touch on was like, if you're thinking about nursing, you should look into your hospital because Upstate had a program for me where I was working as a CNA, but one shift every pay period. So every 2 months, they would let me shadow a nurse for the entire shift.
Awesome.
And how the nurse went through their routine. And that would be one of my shifts every 2 weeks. So I just wanted to throw that out there, something to look
Yeah, I mean, there are some unique opportunities. You do have to go seek them out, but that is incredible. And also, okay, I can already tell with you, a theme with you is it seems like you're definitely a go-getter, but you also put yourself out there. So for you to reach out, even you said when you were volunteering that you are going and shadowing in different units, and I can tell you're pretty friendly and personable. But if people can take the initiative to reach out, get the manager's email information and say, hey, I'm a volunteer here. Is there a potential where I could come and shadow one of your nurses for a shift? I mean, you never know what could happen.
The most we're gonna say is no, and then you move on, ask the next person.
Yes, and I mean, that name might even stick with them. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Niko, I can't have you just come and shadow the unit, but you can apply to our new grad program in a few months, and send me your resume. Like, you just
Right.
don't know. And I think you literally miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So
Right. Especially in today's day and age, I feel like for whatever reason, at least with nursing, it's a little bit more depending on where you are. I feel like it's a little bit easier to kind of like jump some hoops and kind of like sneak your way into some roles
I
if
agree.
jobs to go get.
Totally. And honestly, most nurse leaders do try to have that transformational leadership style where if someone says, hey, I'm interested in this potential experience in the future, hopefully that nurse leader, I know I did it as a manager, would think to themselves, this nurse maybe isn't ready for a leadership role like being a charge nurse, but you know what? I'm going to check back in 3 months. And then, oh, hey, we have a charge role open up. You mentioned this to me 3 months ago. You've grown since then. Like, here you go. Get the ball rolling. Even putting that idea in a leader's head of like, wait, this person wants to try these other things, because you just never know what's going to come down the pike, what opportunity present themselves, and then they're going to be able to help connect the dots and help you get there.
'Cause there's literally the avenues are endless.
Endless.
Whether you're bedside doing different like teams on the unit or outpatient doing your thing Monday through Friday, you can do whatever you want.
I do love that about nursing. You really can pivot like in so many different areas. Now, I want to ask you, I know you kind of took us through your ICU experience, but when did you also start focusing on your fitness and being like, okay, wait, I can also balance my career goals, but also with my health and wellness and, well-being?
So a few different things. So I started lifting for whatever reason. Our strength coach in high school for baseball, he was like wild. Loved to work out. We would always work out. So I started lifting in high school, probably around like ninth grade. I got really into it first semester sophomore year because freshman year of college, I destroyed my knees. I was going to play baseball. I got diagnosed with RA. That was one thing that I was dealing with. And I was essentially told that before the age of 30, if I wanted bilateral knee replacements, to stop baseball. So I stopped playing baseball. So then I started lifting, got really into it sophomore year and just kind of stuck with it ever since. Then once I graduated and started working as a nurse, two things. One, I was bored with my 4 days off. And two, I was a little pissed off with how much I was making as a new grad for the amount of work I just put in nursing school for 4 years. So I was like, what can I do with my time? Essentially, probably that first year, I just played a whole bunch of video games with my free time and did nothing, just to be honest. And then I was literally in the shower one day and I was like, all right, what do I spend a lot of my time doing? And I was literally I go to work as a nurse. And I was like, oh my God, that's another way that I can kind of hit healthcare, but in a different aspect. So now I'll be at the bedside helping the patients. But if I kind of combine my gym and nursing on the other end and kind of attack healthcare from the nurse perspective or healthcare worker perspective, I can help healthcare in two different point of views.
Yes.
It was 2 years essentially posting to nobody and then growing my following. And then I started my coaching, but the process was horrible in the beginning. So then it was just another just huge learning curve on trying to figure out my stuff and things like that. But ever since then, it's just been every day, it's just work on.
Yes, I love that. And I think combining your passions, so sounding like being a nurse with also fitness, I think something beautiful comes from that. And I also think there's so much fulfillment for you, I'm assuming, that comes from that as well. That is so exciting. I love that. And one of your social media posts, it really stood out to me. And it said something like, I used to think being run down was just being part of a nurse. Burnout doesn't care how good of a nurse you are. And I really want to know, when did you start questioning the idea of being exhausted and thinking, okay, that's just part of the job? When did you start questioning, being wait?
The first year, because so the old hospital that I used to work, It was like impossible for you to get straight days or straight night. You could get straight nights if you wanted, but it was impossible to get straight days. Even like 10-year vets at the hospital were like just beginning to get straight day schedules. So the rotating schedule that I was working those first couple of years. And within the first year, I'm in New York. So we have winter. If I'm working night shift in the winter, I don't see the sun. And that affects you more than you originally would think. And then honestly, it was a combination of just the rotating schedule and that kind of little things every now and then, but also seeing the veteran nurses and how exhausted they always were, kind of the problems they were going through at their older ages. Nothing against them, but no offense, I just didn't want to end up like that. I didn't want to put, 10, 15, 20, 30 years in at the bedside, come out with my body destroyed, mindset wrecked, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm young right now. I don't have kids. I don't have a ton of responsibilities. If I'm being honest, there's no reason that I can't do this.
Yeah.
I have no excuse.
Yeah. So, okay. So it was your first year, you were playing video games and you were looking at the veteran nurses and you were kind of like, okay, they all are chronically sleep deprived, not in the best shape, probably reaching for easy food, fast food or food from the calf, probably drinking excess caffeine. I mean, I feel like I can totally relate to this. And I've seen on social media, like you've had a glow up, okay? Yeah. You have like your before pictures and your like current pictures, and you have definitely made strides in your physique and fitness. Yeah. So was it just one day you were like, I'm done with the video games, I'm done, and I don't want to kind of end up like these complacent nurses. I don't want to say it like that, but with these kind of chronic issues, like it was just kind of like a one day thing? Or were you kind of like, okay, I'm going to start in 30 days. I'm going to get really serious.
So it was honestly, it waxed and waned a ton for me. So that freshman year of college, when I found out like baseball's not going to be an option for me, I literally think I put on like 30, 35 pounds. Cause like I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything, nothing it had, like it was just school. I was stressed. That was it.
Totally.
Then sophomore year, I was like, all right, I saw what I looked like at the beginning of freshman year. And then the end of freshman year, I was like, we got to get into this. So essentially from sophomore year to now, I've been very consistent in the gym. Very consistent, probably like the last 8 or 9 years. The nutrition aspect is just the thing that waxes and wanes every once in a while.
Okay.
But I would say it was difficult for me in college because I wasn't making like all of my own meals. Once I graduated and moved out, it's almost been lights out since then. So the last 3 or 4 years, it's essentially been like ever since I've been in more control, the foods that I'm eating and things like that, I've been better. And then literally the last year, I've kind of transitioned more to like whole foods, trying to eat more single ingredient things, cutting out more processed. Like I'm one of those people where like, you're never going to avoid processed stuff.
No way.
You're not going to do it. I try to just get as close as I can to that. And that's kind of like one of the biggest changes that I've made lately. My energy is just way better. I've noticed a huge difference in my knees, honestly, from it. When I eat a lot of processed stuff, my knees hurt a ton. And then when I eat way cleaner and I'm a little bit more mobile and I get my stretching and things like that and my knees feel good. And I was originally actually seeing a specialist for a little while. I was on medication for 5 years. And I was taking it for more than 6 or 7 years because it's liver toxic. Then she was going to put me on a aspirin-based medication. And I was like, dude, I'm 24. I'm not trying to be on aspirin. So then essentially I just stopped going and then I took everything.
That's one way to do it. Spoken like a real nurse, right?
Literally.
No, but there is definitely a lot to be said for dietary, like what you're consuming and how you're feeling. I know there are days where I'm like eating a ton of processed food and sugar and I do not feel good. And I easily have some kind of inflammation issue. Like I'm like, I'll get like tennis elbow. I'm like, I don't even play tennis. What's happening? And then when I really clean up my diet, I do notice the exact same thing of just like feeling good, like mental clarity, sleeping better. And yes, it takes more work, but I think if you can focus on how good you feel with what you're doing and the effects of that, it's a good way to at least stay somewhat compliant to being healthy. Now, I want to chat a little bit about like wellness strategies for nursing students and nurses, because you did mention that, you obviously were very stressed in nursing school, and same. I remember my freshman year, I put on 10 pounds and I was running cross country and track. So I don't even know how I was eating a lot. Okay.
And I think a lot of it was stress. And also you're going to the calf, you're eating junk, maybe you're partying, like, right? Like it just packs on because it's a completely different lifestyle. But what do you recommend for a realistic weekly routine to look like for like either busy nurses that work 12-hour shifts or like those, or even nursing students? Do you have kind of any tips on how to fit in
Oh, yeah.
your meals and your lifting and all that jazz?
For nursing students, you have to sit there and you have to schedule your workouts like appointments. And sometimes it's easier to look at a month versus a week or two and aiming to fit in 10 workouts over the next 30 days versus doing 4 workouts in a week. So that's one thing that I definitely did because like you have clinical, you have tests, you have quizzes, you probably have some dumb paper to write. You got a care plan to get caught up on for your clinical. You class 3 days this week in a lab. You might not go to the gym for 4 or 5 days in a row. That's okay as long as you have that time, sneak it in. I was lucky enough though, I got a little messed up with COVID, but beyond COVID, I was lucky enough that there is a 24-hour gym as well as the gym at my campus. So if the campus one was closed, the 24-hour gym, literally, if I had to go at 9:30 at night, I was going at 9:30 at night. If I had to go at 6 a.m. because I didn't have class until 8 a.m., get your ass up and go at 6 a.m. Okay. An 8 a.m. class is not that early. Beyond that, like stick to like if you're eating on campus, like salads, grilled foods, like if you have a grill, for the most part, that's going to be a healthier option. I'm a big black coffee drinker, so don't be drinking 700 calories worth of coffee every day. That's an easy come out for most people. But you also don't have to go like 0 to 100 with everything. There's definitely a balance. Definitely eat stuff for the soul sometimes.
Yeah.
But definitely scheduling out your workouts, eating as well as you can, obviously focusing on the whole foods, it's just with your energy and mental clarity. One thing is, well, for nursing students is I set a hard stop every night for me. The last hour, hour and a half of every single day, especially Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday was for me. I'm not studying. I'm not doing homework. 10 o'clock hit or 9:30, 10 o'clock hit, I'm done. If I have a test the next day and I spent the whole day studying and it's 9:30, I'm not going to gain anything new from 9:30 to 10. I'm going to do something that's not stressful, hang out with the bros, just relax. Tomorrow's test is whatever.
Oh my gosh. I love that so much because I know we set 0 boundaries in nursing school, but I love that you incorporated that. I had a friend who, like, after our tests, she was so good at being like, we're not talking about the test. And, you know, there's obviously you like end up making friends in your nursing program. And she's like, we're going to go to like a local sub shop. We're going to get a sandwich and we're going to go sit and have a picnic. And we're not going to talk about nursing. And it was funny because it was kind of a struggle for me. I was like, oh my gosh, but like, what did you put for that question about like?
Yeah, that's how I was. I was exactly like her. I don't want to know what you put. I don't know what you put. I'll get my grade back tomorrow. I'm over it.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yes. And you know what? She taught me so much. And it was such a great way to decompress and to also just let it go. Let it go. I absolutely love that you really encourage people to schedule in their workouts because I do feel like if we are intentional with our time, we're likely going to probably hit more of the goals that we have for that week or month. And I find for me, if I schedule things and actually structure my day and put things intentionally in place, like I am more productive. I am much more engaged in whatever it is I'm doing and getting in movement.
Yeah.
Like you have to be intentional with your time or all of a sudden it's gone. I don't know who I learned this from, but someone was like, if you give yourself 4 hours to get something done, it'll take you 4 hours. If you give yourself an hour to get it done, you'll get it done in an hour.
Which is something that I do with my content now as well. It's just an off topic, but like I used to spend so much time trying to make the perfect piece of content, trying to share. Now it's whatever idea I have in my head, or I see something that I'm like, oh, that triggers an idea. I'll set a timer 20, 30 minutes. That's it. I have to finish that piece of content by that. Regardless, once that timer goes off, I'll throw a few finishing touches on it and then it goes out. That's it.
No, I love that so much. I think I need to incorporate that more in my life too, of just hard stops, right? Because you know what? Nothing's going to be perfect. We're not always going to 100% have everything studied and know, but at the same time, cutting yourself off then allows you got to get a good night's sleep before your test too. These all-nighter, I don't know who's doing them. I don't know how successful they are. They never.
Never in my life did I do an all-nighter. So if you need an all-nighter to after nursing school, you need to reevaluate your priorities.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I agree with this so much. And on the topic of sleep, like how are you with sleep? Is that something that's also like somewhat of a priority?
Yes, but like I only need like 5 or 6 hours. At like 8, I could sleep for like 4 or 5 hours for the next few days and be fine. It's literally my dad's wired the same way,
Yeah.
exactly like him. So that's, I think, something that I was kind of like blessed with, is that
Yeah.
I don't need a ton of sleep, but sleep is like one of those things. It's not touched on enough, and it
Yeah.
does way more for you than you think.
It's so true. And everyone is different. Like you said, you only need, a few hours. There are people that need 8 or 9, and that's okay. But you need to learn that about yourself so that you can do the best in everything that you do during your waking hours. Sleep deprivation is so real in nursing.
Oh yeah,
Is it hard?
especially working back. Literally, you're supposed to get out at 6:30. You don't get home until 7:45. You got to be up at 5:30 in order to work. 6:30 or whatever. You got to eat. You got to shower. Like you have like 6 or 7 hours
Yeah.
between sleeping for 5.
Yes, it's so true. And I like that you mentioned scheduling your workouts on like a monthly view. I have all ever done like weekly because I'm like, oh, I like to work out 5 times a week. But there are times where I'm only 4 times one week, but then I'm 6 times the next week, or whatever, because of life. And I'm not going to kill myself trying to just hit this weekly goal. But I
Right.
sometimes feel a little bit like, oh man, I didn't do it. So I think
Right.
from a monthly standpoint is actually a really great idea.
It also just helps you zoom out a little bit and helps you focus more on like the long-term consistency over like that day-to-day perfection.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And, I think I've had to learn to get out of the mindset of like all or nothing. Like either I'm perfect and I stick to everything, or the minute I fall off the bandwagon, screw it. I'm not working out. I'm eating junk. I've had to allow myself grace as to, okay, so I went out and had a cheat meal or had fun or whatever. Today's a new day. Let's start fresh and do the best that we can do.
My rule is it's okay as long as you don't do it 2 times in a row.
Oh,
Don't skip a workout 2 days in a row, and don't have 2 bad meals in a row.
Oh, I love that. Okay, I feel like I could do that. I'm learning so much from you, Niko. And I think I'm like 10 years older. Like something's missing. I'm supposed to be like giving you wisdom or something.
We're all friends here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I do want to touch upon burnout too. Did you suffer from burnout in your early years as a nurse?
I definitely, when it was like night shift and it was winter, I literally I was down so bad, like just so like I had no energy, no motivation, didn't want to eat, didn't want to work out. Because like also the other thing is, if you have a bunch of friends from college, but not a lot of them are in nursing and they're all
Yeah.
working Monday through Friday 5s, or like a lot of my friends were either Monday through Friday 9 to 5s, or they had like moved out of like that college town. So they were like 30, 45 minutes away. So when I was on night shift, I wouldn't see people. It would be dark all the. That was when I realized, like, oh my God, I need to get on my shit.
Yes. Yeah. And I think seasonal depression's real too. And
It is.
I mean, I'm in Connecticut, so, not far from you. Like winter is like really short sunlight hours, and it's cold and it's hard to even get outside when there is sunlight. But I am a new woman come spring. I am like troll that comes out of under the
Literally.
bridge, and I'm happy. I'm so much more motivated. So how do you keep yourself motivated during those winter months, or when you're struggling? It doesn't have to necessarily be that time, but if you're kind of like, is there something
Night shift, the big thing that I did was wake up, alarm goes off, don't look at your phone. If you're lucky enough to be somewhere where there's light, you go outside, you don't put sunglasses on or anything. Obviously, don't look directly at the sun. If you just get some sunshine in your eyes, it's going to blow your energy up. It's gonna and especially if you're working nights, it's just going to kind of like help almost just reset your circadian rhythm, just to help you go to sleep a little bit better that next day.
You know what? I've actually heard that too from even just many like wellness gurus and health experts, that if you can get sunlight in the first 15 minutes of your day, like of waking, it does like huge things for you from even just a mental standpoint. And actually, I think our Americans in general are chronically depleted from vitamin D. So to just go out there and pour yourself a coffee, go out, sit in the sun for 15 minutes, and then start.
Literally sit in nature quietly and deal with it almost.
Niko, you're a changed man. You went from video gaming on a day off to like sitting like, I don't know, a monk in the sunlight.
No, it changed my life when I was working night shift.
I do
completely
agree.
changed my energy.
Yeah, I think we don't realize that is what it is we're missing too.
Right.
We think, oh, sleep and I didn't eat right and I had too much caffeine. But it's like, okay, wait, what about just like grounding yourself outside in nature? Like, I think we all, especially in our day and age when everything is so digital, I think
No,
we really suffer from that.
100%.
Now, what myths do you think nurses or healthcare professionals believe about health and fitness that hold them back? Like, what do you think it is in our profession that, because it's funny, there aren't very many healthy nurses or doctors even, because I think we are so work driven and we're service driven that we take care of everybody else. But what do you think are like the limiting beliefs that our profession tends to lean on that's creating sort of an obstacle but preventing?
That it takes too much time
Mm.
and that eating healthy is difficult. Because this is something that I did with all of my clients is a couple weeks ago, I had them all pull up their screen time. And if they would
Ooh.
tell me that they were having difficulties fitting anything in, I asked them to look at their screen time and then tell me why they couldn't fit that in. If they have 4 hours to scroll on Instagram, they got 30 minutes to go make a meal.
Absolutely. Do you meal prep every week?
Okay, another thing I left out. I used to, yes. And
Okay.
meal prep for me, it like you don't have to be making fancy meals.
Yeah.
Like potatoes, pastas, ground meat, air fry some chicken thighs if you want to.
Yeah.
You can do chicken sausage, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, boiled egg. Like I can go on. I lucked out because there's a salad place at my hospital.
Oh,
So for the
nice.
most part, I'll either get like almost like chicken Mexican bowls, like taco bowls or salads. So and they're only like $7. So I'm like, steal. Why pack a lunch if I can do that every day?
Absolutely.
But if you need quick food, go to the grocery store. Don't go to a gas station. Don't go to a fast food place. And just stay to the outside walls of the store.
Yes.
Want to find things that you're going to be able to throw in the microwave, that you'll be able to throw in the air fryer, be able to throw in the oven that's already pre-made, that's not too expensive, that you can bring with you to work.
Yeah.
Pieces of fruit are not that expensive. You can
Yeah,
stack that. You can get Greek yogurt cups, things like that. Like it's
Yeah.
not as difficult as people just, I feel like, don't want to put the effort in to actually look at things and actually try to eat different.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, I mean, most of the time we're all going to the grocery store at least once a week anyways.
Right.
Be mindful of, okay, what's quick food I can throw in my lunch?
Especially with TikTok and Instagram these days, being able to just look up, I want this, or ChatGPT. All of these resources these days, like granted, kids' responsibilities, other things. Yes, obviously, you got to take care of all of that first. But with all of these other resources these days, it's easier than ever.
Absolutely. Even, I think I've never gotten into like meal prepping because when I see it online, people are prepping for like an entire week and that is overwhelming to me. Like a lot of times I'm like, okay, I'm going to make my lunch for tomorrow, but then I'm like, I'm going to also make the lunch for the next day. So I'm kind of just meal prepping for the next 2 days and I like my fridge ready to go. I don't always plan out the whole week. So I think we really can tailor it to, what fits our needs. It doesn't have to be what we see on the internet.
Right. Especially so as a nurse, like meal prep the shifts that you're working and then eat whatever you want those other days.
Yeah. Good
Like
point.
just plan out those 3 days working, and then those other days, if you want to eat something different, eat something different. Just the one thing that also kind of like changed my mindset is nothing is off limits when it comes to nutrition. That was one of the big like all or nothing mindset things that I had to learn is that nothing is going to be off limits when it comes to nutrition. It just comes down to the ingredients. So if I wanted pizza, I was going to allow myself to have pizza. I just wasn't going to go out and buy it. I was going to make it myself. Normal dough, I would get like a protein flatbread or something like that. I would get like a lower fat or like a part skim mozzarella. I would still do I would try to focus like my ingredients to be protein based. So I would do like chicken or beef or something like that. Then I would make a pizza.
I will say I love all the food that you post on your social media. I'm always like, wow, this guy can cook. And you make it good. I like to throw things together. I'm like, this doesn't look good, but it does actually taste good.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think if you can like meal prep for the days where you don't have the time. So like working out our 3 12s. I used to have a coworker who was so good at this. She would go to the caf for lunch the minute it opened at like 11 or whatever with lunch food. And she wasn't eating lunch at the time, but one, there's no one down there. So she would zip in, get her food. She'd bring it up to the break room. And plus, she wasn't going down there when she was starving. So she was making herself a healthy salad. She wasn't getting fried chicken finger. And like everything else that's terrible for you and a cookie and all that comfort food because we're starving. And instead she was like going ahead. Plus she was taking a couple minutes to just walk off the unit. Like we need that. Okay. I want to talk about your social media because I'm obsessed. Just for everyone listening, I reached out to Niko and I was like, hey, I'd love for you to be on the show. By the way, one of the reels you made is still my favorite reel ever. and I want to share it on here, and hopefully I can give a good description of it. But Niko made this reel that still has me laughing, where you are like in the point of view of the patient, and like the like eyes are opening, and you just see Niko at the end of the bed, and you realize, oh, Niko's the nurse, I'm the patient. And he like swivels around an iPad and he asks for a tip, like being like, we saved your life. One quick thing, like, what, do you want to give us a tip? And I laughed so hard just because, everywhere we go now, we're like tipping people. And yet here we are delivering such incredibly intimate and personalized care. And we don't get to accept a tip is really frustrating, but I laughed so hard. I really was like,
funny because I forget where I went somewhere and I bought whatever it was. Very little preparation on their part. And, the iPad swivels around. I'm like, are you kidding?
Everyone's behind you looking over your shoulder to be like, okay.
I'm like, no, every time. I don't even care. But a restaurant, all that kind of stuff, I tip well, I tip well. But if you're going to swivel an iPad around for you going to like a soda fountain to like, you're dumb like that.
I know. So when my DM to Niko was like, hey, you don't have to be on my show. Like, I'd love for you to be on. But by the way, I'm still obsessed with this one reel that you made. Yeah, that was a really good one. But I feel like you have made a pretty amazing community on social media. How do you like approach creating content so that it connects with nurses, but also influencing them when it comes to like health or burnout or fitness? Like you do a really good job of like merging the two. How do you do that? Are you just like thinking about content as you're going through your day and you're like, oh, this would be something relatable?
So I kind of break content into like a few different categories, whether or not like I'm trying to make you laugh, educate you, inspire you, like that kind of stuff. And I try to hit like almost every piece each week, at least like a couple times a week. So that way, you're laughing about nursing and you're able to like let a little bit of steam off. Maybe you're getting a little bit of inspiration to stay like, oh, maybe I should try to do this. And then maybe this day you're learning something new and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Things like that. But even something that I do is my notes app on my phone is full of just stuff.
Yes.
In like the middle of the day and like I have an interaction with the patient, I'm like, oh, that was hilarious. Right in the notes app, like and sometimes you just, like you were saying earlier, is like you just hit those creative flows. And when you hit those creative flows, it's so important to lean into that because you're not always going to have it. Because then you also have points where like recently, I just felt like I couldn't put anything out and I was just struggling. That's also another side of where like nursing school taught me to learn like where my line is, to where I know like how far I've gotten and like, all right, I got to take a step back now.
Yes.
Like, maybe I'll take the rest of today off, revisit it tomorrow. And then I'm way more creative again. Definitely use my notes app all the time.
I love that. And I think too, when you try to force creativity, it's really, really hard to be creative, right? And you're right. Like we can only be in the flow state for so long that it's like, okay, you hit a point where you're like, now I'm just like making junk or trying to make something work. I need to or come back when I'm in a better, have more clarity and maybe a little bit more recharged. I love all of your stuff and highly recommend everyone go and obviously follow you. But I also want to know, do all your coworkers know you online and everything?
Oh yeah. I didn't tell anyone this hospital. I didn't tell anyone. Last hospital, I'm like, I post and everything, but like, I don't want the attention. I don't want the spotlight.
Yeah, I'm similar.
But everyone in my hospital now knows, but it's like, it's fun.
Yeah. I know. It's funny because I have, a clinical group of like students. I don't like introduce myself saying, hey, I'm also on social media. Like that's obviously blurring the lines. And when I'm at clinical, I'm really wearing my instructor hat, not like make content. But every semester, I'm like, wonder at what week they're going to be like, hey, I found you. And this semester was week 6. They're like, you didn't tell us that you have a podcast. And it was like so funny. I'm like, oh, you found me. It is a little like, it's weird when the world collide. And it does this idea of like, it's a small world out there. Like, a lot of times I don't even tag like where I really am geographically, but people find you and then they feel like one. So you're like, might as well.
That's like also one other thing that like, gotta be more careful. That's why like now, like I'm very, I'll be honest, when I was traveling a little bit, I was making a bit more money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I kind of leaned into the content side more because I was being slow at like easy assignments. But then I kind of like took a step back from that. And I was like, once people started to kind of like know me in the place, I was like, okay, when I'm here, like business. Like it's
In the same way,
it's like
absolutely.
not.
I know people seem to blur the lines. They're taking videos of them in the med room or the
Oh yeah.
supply closet. And I'm like, first of all, if your coworker walks in on you doing that and they're drowning and you're in the supply closet doing a TikTok dance, I just can imagine, even just from like your workplace, like tensions are going to rise. I'm not even talking at the level of if management found out, so I feel like, yeah. And I think too, really protecting where you work, right? Like not wearing your badge with the logo, like, because if employers see it, and at least if you don't have what place you're working at listed on there, it can't kind of be something that they can get upset with. I feel like you do have to have those boundaries for sure. But I love all your social media because I do find it really, really entertaining. So what you're doing, just keep on doing it. And you're definitely an inspiration. Now, to kind of close us out a little bit, I do want to just ask you a few personal questions. What's one fitness or wellness mistake that you made early on? And how did you course correct?
It was like literally that all or nothing mindset with nutrition, thinking that I
Yeah.
could have certain foods, and all that would lead me to do is just binge.
Yeah.
Like literally, I would restrict myself, and then I would like have a taste of what I wasn't allowed to eat, and then I would just be a snowball effect, and then I would just like trash for a few days, and I would restrict
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Then once I backed it off to where okay, nothing is off limits now. I can eat whatever I want. I just have to be more almost strategic with the way I go about it.
I love them. What are your current fitness goals? What are your current nursing goals? And what are your current business goals? Like, I want to know them all.
Business goals, I want to hit 5 figures a month.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year we'll be
I
doing
want,
that.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nursing goals, debating taking my CCRN towards the end of this year.
Okay.
I'm doing my SCRN right now because get that for free from my hospital because we're getting accredited for I think for the SCRN or whatever.
What is SCR?
Stroke certification. So like I could do that NIHS.
Okay.
So I'm doing that now. I'm thinking about doing the CCRN later this year because I have a buddy who I actually met traveling that is going to go CRNA because we had talked about it.
Oh my God.
But that might be a next year thing, possibly CRNA. It depends though, kind of how like business goes and then that, because like I also love what I do currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the bedside. I'll be honest. I love the chaos. I love codes. I love all the bustle of the ICU. So I love that. And then fitness goals. I honestly like I've gotten to a good spot right now. I'm just trying to like, especially I feel like weight, I've been good. Physique, I'm good. I've been eating everything that I want to. I'm not too hungry, not too be. So honestly, I'm just trying to, just maintain at this point, really.
I love that. I think that's really nice to hear because I always feel like people are always trying to like
People always want like,
business from a fitness standpoint. And it's like, at what point can we just be super happy with where we are and just focus on consistency and maintaining this healthy lifestyle? And I think sometimes we don't take time to really be proud of where we are and where we've come, Oh man.
That's always telling like the people that I work with is like every day it's you versus you. As long as you're getting 1% better from the version of you yesterday, you're progressing.
Absolutely. Now, before I ask you the final question of the show, can you tell everyone kind of where they can follow you, where they can connect with you, and also like how you help people? I know you take clients.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Give us a little spiel.
Yeah. So mostly everything is going to be on Instagram. It's going to be official for RN. I do have a TikTok that's under my actual name, Niko Saunders. I really post a ton there. But I will be looking to get actually a YouTube channel out there this year as well. That's going to be one. But as far as working with me, I do all like one-on-one coaching. You get 24/7 access to me. We hop on Zoom calls really, really consistently. One thing that I'm going to be working on before the end of summer, before I get the YouTube channel, is actually a Discord community for all of my clients. So that way, all of nurses from all different areas of life, all across the country. I even have some people in like Europe and Africa, but it's going to be like one Discord community for everyone there. So everyone kind of like share each other's wins. You guys are like thinking through, different ideas, stuff like, but it's all personalized exercise program, nutrition program. Everything's in a personalized app for you. You got recipe books, nutrition guides, Ninja Creamy guides, fast everything, all the things.
that.
But everything's personalized. We work really, really close with each other. You get my phone number. We chit chat all the time. There will be a community coming out. And yeah.
That's awesome. Great. I can't wait to stay tuned and watch everything that you do and create. Now, the final question I usually ask my guests on the show is if you could go back to new grad Niko and give that sweet new grad a piece of advice, what would it be?
Have an open mind. Try to take one piece of like knowledge from every preceptor you work with or every nurse on your unit seek out the veterans of the unit and don't be afraid to just ask them questions from day one. Like if you find a veteran on the unit, and by veteran, I would say 4 years, maybe, like someone who's been there like a little while, ask them every question that crosses your mind the moment you start orientation, because that way you'll start recognizing patterns. You'll have those questions answered early on, so you'll be less likely to make mistakes. You'll learn everything a little bit quicker. And then once you're off orientation, I feel like you'll just be more confident in like your own art of nursing.
Absolutely. Asking those veterans questions that you have is going to get you the answer so quick than having to like live out the
Right. So also, I feel like a lot of nurses know that nursing school and reality of nursing are two very different things. So
Yeah.
they're not like, you're not supposed to know some stuff.
No. And let me tell you, I think what would bother experienced nurses more than asking questions is a new grad that thinks they know everything.
Well, we got a couple of those in our unit right now, and it's not going well.
No, it's not. And everyone got their number and everyone knows that they know everything and they don't. And I mean, it could be a scary situation. So it's okay to have questions, even if you think they're stupid questions. Because listen, we probably already asked them when we were.
I have so many. I ask dumb questions to this day.
Wow. Niko, today has been so fun. Thank you so much. You are so like wildly authentic, and you were like that in the online space. And I'm quite particular about who I have on the show, but I feel really, really honored to have connected with you today. So thank you so much for being on the Life After Nursing School podcast.
So much.
This conversation with Niko was actually really fun. I truly appreciate his go-getter mentality and the way he refuses to lean on excuses, especially when it comes to prioritizing his health, which is something so many of us in healthcare tend to put on the back burner. I have no doubt that Niko will crush his current goals of hitting consistent 5-figure months in his business, building his YouTube channel, or even earning his CCRN certification. His content is hilarious, relatable, and motivating. And honestly, those are the exact qualities that we need more of in the online nursing space. Don't forget to check him out on Instagram at officialfitrn. I'm so grateful he joined me on the show and shared his story with all of you. If you made it to the end of the episode, I'd love it if you could take a quick second to rate the show, follow it so you don't miss what's coming next, and share this episode with a nurse friend who might need a little motivation to start putting their own health first. Thanks so much for being here. And as always, I have one hand for me and the other for you. Signing off. Well, that's it for today's episode of Life After Nursing School. I hope you feel more confident and ready to tackle the challenges that come with starting your nursing career. Remember, the first year or two might not be easy, but with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Also, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps so much in reaching other new nurses like you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. Take care and see you next time.